Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Hard work. Work. There you go.
Forward.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey. I got my man Bishop. And y'all rocking with the best, your favorite vets on the net. First of all, make some morning sports talk. So come in and fall in with us as we get to talking about what's been cracking in the sports over the last 24 hours. Of course, you know, myself and Seven was on here rocking yesterday, in which I had to concede to Bishop's picking of his teams because based on the point differential in which Donovan said we should go by, it was a whopping disparity between the two teams.
Only because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, first of all, good morning, everyone. WGO, what's going on this Tuesday morning? I finally fixed my issue with the headphones and the sound and all that, so hopefully y'all hear me just fine. With that being said, right, I watched the All-Star game, and I was mad because I couldn't get on yesterday. But I saw that, like, all my players balled out. Like, all my players, like, balled out. Like, every one of them. You had LeBron, who only played 2 quarters.
13 points.
Then I had Giannis, who only took the first shot and then got off the court, which was cool. I'm cool with that.
2 points.
Yeah, 2 points. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not mistaken, you had Tatum, right?
Yes, he scored 55.
55. That was your biggest deal, is that Tatum had 55. But did not have Dame time.
You had Dame, you had Embiid, you had Brown, and you had Mitchell, who all scored an average of 26 points.
Okay. Outside of Tatum, who else did something for y'all?
Halliburton, who scored 18 points. Laurie Markkanen, who scored 13 points after that. And LeBron James scored 13 points. He left the game early. So,
he left the game early.
Oh, well, Anthony Edwards scored 12 points because I had to take him because he replaced one of our players. But De'Aaron Fox replaced Steph Curry. He didn't score a single. He was the only player in the whole damn game that didn't score anything. So yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't end well for me. You even have Pascal Siakam, who replaced Kevin Durant. He scored 12 points. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, when I started looking at that, I had Jokic. You know what? You had Jokic.
I was about to say I had Joker. Yeah,
and I don't even know what he scored. I didn't even write that down. So it was more.
Jokic only had 4.
Oh, 4. So 190, 85. So you're the
but
team.
I had Kyrie Irving. I had Kyrie, who scored 32. Don't forget about that.
That's what. Oh, that's why I messed up at.
Jaylen Brown, who I had, scored 35.
Yeah. So it was even more than that. So basically, the players in which you outscored the team that was picked when you put it together. So what's good? What's good, Michael? Coach Fest.
And they don't call me to go for no reason, bro. I'm like, just give me my.
Some almost rolled right off my tongue.
Just give me my flowers, bro. You know what it is, bro. It is what it is. Y'all know what it is, man. Don't act brand new to it.
No, we do not.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Don, that was a charity game. That's like us playing on 8 feet rims. It seems like Saturday night events were better than the game itself. So it's crazy you say that, right, Don? Because a lot of people, I've heard, because I wasn't on here yesterday, so I was watching a few of the commentation from some of the sports analysts out here, and a lot of people were disappointed. A lot of people didn't like the fact that and I don't know if you spoke about this yesterday or not, Trey, but a lot of people did not like the fact they felt that the game was not entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the players feel one way, fans feel some way, and then you have the analyst that feels a whole nother way.
Some of the players,
What is
from what I
how
found,
do you feel? First, before you tell me about the players, tell me how you felt about what the game itself, Trey. How did you feel about the all? First, we're just talking about the All-Star game itself. We'll talk about
yeah.
everything else, but just the
So,
All-Star game.
in my opinion, it was basically like you said, like it was lackluster in a sense when you look at it.
Mhm.
There wasn't enough. I think what the key was, in past games they play for whatever, and then they ratchet it up in the late third, fourth quarter to make it a game. In this case, that didn't happen. The team Antetokounmpo was too far out, as you said, like you was looking at the points, talking about the points totals for certain teams. Of course, I mean, some of these people were on opposite teams, but it just was too far ahead. And like you said, it was lackluster from the competitiveness, in which the same things I talked about the Pro Bowl, like what are we doing? So that was my take on it. It just wasn't. It really wasn't competitive, and it was like it was the
So was it
worst.
entertaining though at all to you?
No, not that game, not at all.
Not at all.
Outside of Tatum and Brown, Jaylen Brown going at
Going
it
at
every
it
once
one
in a
on one.
while. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really wasn't. And then, like you just said, 1-on-1, that's not what it should be. But I mean, that provided the entertainment in state.
So my thing, right? So a lot of the analysts said it wasn't entertaining. The players said, some players spoke. I forget who exactly
Anthony Edwards spoke and said it's a shame there's people sitting out. He's like, people could have played they could have only wanted to see one game, only been able to only afford one game on the whole year, and they decide to come to the All-Star game, and that's what
People
they
sitting out.
got. Yeah, and people
Right.
sitting
So,
out
and
and
don't
stuff.
get me wrong. So this is the thing, right? So this is my thing about the whole situation in regards to the All-Star game. For one, to me, you can't compare them. In my opinion, you can't compare the All-Star game to the Pro Bowl. In my opinion, you can't, because NBA is doing way better than the Pro Bowl. In my opinion, first
You
off,
didn't like
what's
the
up,
Pro Bowl this
Anthony?
year?
I didn't.
Okay.
The flag football game. The flag football game was cool, but I mean,
You didn't like the events around it.
the events, yes, some of the events was okay, but not all of them. But in regards to the NBA All-Star game, the game, I'm gonna ask you this, my personal opinion, and this is what I feel. Who's the game for, Trey?
It's
Who's
supposed to be for
the NBA All-Star game? Who's it for?
It's supposed to be for the fans to sit and watch all the top players in the NBA.
Absolutely,
culminate in one spot.
the
Yeah,
stars
the
in the
stars,
NBA,
the
all the
top,
stars,
those voting
top,
stars, the people they voted
right,
for.
right, the top players in the NBA who's been voted to be All-Stars. That's what the game is for. So, in your opinion, and this is me, it's for the fans. Absolutely, Michael. In your opinion, do the fans necessarily want to see a more competitive game or a more electrifying game?
Competitive. I think they will. Honestly, I think they want to be able to see both. I
Okay.
think they want
Can
to be
you
able to
give
see
both?
both.
Is that possible?
I think so, because it's and then, like I said yesterday, I said it when me and Stephen was on yesterday.
Mhm.
I said, if you think about it, there were a lot of usual suspects that weren't there that make the game competitive. Steph wasn't there, Clay wasn't there,
Mhm.
KD wasn't
Kevin
there,
Durant, right?
LeBron was half there. You
He
maybe could
barely
throw
there.
in AD, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Giannis barely there. Yeah.
some of the Draymond Green, you know what I'm saying? Some of
Draymond.
the
Well, he was
usual
commentating.
suspects. Yeah, he was commentating, but only because he wasn't voted. So
Right.
some of
Yeah.
the
So he couldn't
usual
be there. Right.
suspects in which we have that, you know what I'm saying,
Thank
make
you,
it
Michael.
like
Appreciate
we
it.
didn't see Steph knock down 23 pointers.
Right.
What happened?
Well,
Oh, he said, yeah,
no, he said, yeah,
we didn't see Steph get.
they want to be entertained. Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't get a chance to see Steph knock down 23 pointers, you know what I'm saying, or anything, or
But
go
we
for
did
his
see
record.
Dame hit a half court shot.
Yeah, but I mean, that's Steph makes those on the regular in All-Star games, like,
Right, but
and
we
with
seen it from
when
somebody.
you
Right, but we
add
seen it from
together.
somebody who ain't done it though. That's the thing. We
Yeah,
seen it
but
from
Dame
Dame.
got ranked. But Dame, I mean,
We
Dame
know
does
Dame
that
got
in
range.
games.
We do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
well,
does that in
yeah.
games for a given point. So that,
Right.
you know, saying when we take a look at it, I just think that it was that in that moment, like Mike says, they want to be entertained. So I think
They
it's a
do.
way, because we've seen it before. Like, you know, saying when Steph won last year, his coveted it escaped him the MVP, the All-Star MVP. He finally got, and he got it in grand fashion with what 15, 16 3-pointers knocked down in a game.
Right.
He was cooking, and you know,
Right.
saying from long distance at that point. So with the turnaround before he bottoms out, all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's what they want. The
But my
fans want to
thing
be
is,
entertained.
they do, and I totally agree with that. With the shots, I get it. But in a game, or if with a more competitive game, what you're not going to see if the game is competitive. And for the game to be competitive, I need y'all to understand something. For the game to be competitive, as we know, in most All-Star games, the first 3 quarters, like Trey say, toward the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, they don't play no defense. There's no defense. So for it to be competitive, Trey, you have to play defense. So therefore, if that's the case, you're not about to see a bunch of guys throwing self alley-oops in a competitive game. You're not. That's not gonna happen. LeBron threw himself one the other night.
And Tatum threw himself the one as well.
Tatum threw himself one. A couple other people. You're not going to see those things in regular games. Yes, we know Tracy McGrady used to do it during a regular season game. Got it. But when you have, in my opinion, this is just me. In my opinion, when it comes to the All-Star game, it's almost, in my opinion, somewhat like watching the Harlem Globetrotters. You're looking for
someone said that
entertainment.
yesterday.
Yeah, it's more.
I think it was CC. I think it was CC said that.
Yeah, it's entertainment. It's like and one. You want to see the dribble moves. You want to see somebody get cooked, put in the blender. That's the type of thing. You're not going to see that in a competitive game. You're not. Yeah, you got the Steph Curry's with the crazy range, no matter what type of platform he's playing on. You got Kyrie with the crazy handles, no matter what type of platform. You know, you got a lot of people with a lot of different platforms that can do some of these in-game plays and things like that. But when it's all said and done, in my personal opinion, I do not think you can get both and please the crowd. Now, you're not going to be able to please everyone. I get it. But you're just not going to get in my opinion, you're not going to get a competitive game as well as a entertaining game as a lot of people would expect. You want to see high flying, crazy dunks. You know, that's what the whole All-Star weekend is about. You know, we got the dunk contest, we got the 3-point shootout, we got the rookies and all. We got the All-Star the challenges and all of that good stuff. You know, they added some new stuff this year. They had 4 teams of 3. You know, they had the Antetokounmpos versus, you know, the Young Guns and all of this other stuff. You know, I watched some of it on Friday. I definitely watched the 3-point contest and the dunk contest on Saturday. The dunk contest was, I mean, Mac McClung did his thing. Other than that, everybody else was mediocre. Like he walked away with that slam dunk contest win easily. That was pretty much. He didn't really have to do. I mean, he did some amazing dunks to be 6'2", but when it's all said and done, Kenyon Martin Jr. Blah. What's his old boy name? The other big cat. I can't even think his name right now. It wasn't like really. Mac McClung did everything.
Jericho Sims.
Sam, yeah, it wasn't really entertaining. The only thing it was happy. The only thing that was entertaining, and some people ask, "Oh, did Mac McClung bring back the dunk?" No, he did not. No, he did not. He didn't make the dunk contest relevant. No, he just made himself relevant. He made himself a household name now. For those people that didn't know about him, which is crazy because he was in high school doing the same thing. He was all over the internet.
All the dunks he did the other night was his in-game dunks in high school.
Exactly. In-game dunks. Every single one of them. I just watched early on. I think it was on what was it on TikTok? Every single dunk he did in the game, except for jumping over people. He didn't do those two.
Yeah.
But other than them two, the other dunks, his in-game dunks. He did all those in the game. He did all those in the game. In an in-game play. So, like, when it's all said and done, it was for people that don't, you know, maybe not have social media, it gave him recognition. So don't call it an All-Star game then. Exactly. It really, like, in my opinion, man, it's almost in the same boat as the Pro Bowl, in my opinion. They have to do something more. Like, again, a lot of analysts, I think it was Charles Barkley and some other people, were saying, oh, they need to be more, they need to play some defense. You know, a lot of people even got upset. Oh, you want them to play defense, but that's how LeBron got hurt, hitting his hand on the rim while defending what's his name? Gilgeous Alexander. So like he played defense on that one play, hit his hand on the rim, he's out for the game. Like go figure. Like, where is that happening? But it is what it is. I think it's about, you know, when it's all said and done, when it's the fans are there, it's about the whole experience. It's like going to the Super Bowl in a way. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily just the Super Bowl. You know, yeah, that's what everybody's main objective is to go and watch the Super Bowl, but it's all the other entertaining things outside or around the Super Bowl's atmosphere, the Super Bowl experience. And that's what All-Star Weekend is about. It's about the NBA All-Star experience, in my opinion. So if you're not there, you're really not going to really get the gist of it. And we find ourselves looking at it year after year after year with expectations of things getting better. The only thing that's getting better or staying pretty much stagnant is the 3-point contest. They didn't even took the WNBA out of it. When did that happen? They didn't took them out the whole thing.
So I think that was more.
What's going on, Armin? Good morning.
What's good, Armin? Glad to have you information with us. I think that was more of a situation where they're probably looking at branding the WNBA more with specific WNBA content, and saying utilizing their game, and that's where they're gonna get their shine on and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's what I just assumed, or hence the reason why. Like we talked about yesterday, there was a reason like they need to get away from the Antetokounmpo brothers. That's the second time in 2 years consecutively in which they ran with the team Antetokounmpo, and that didn't work out. So I think it's time to get away from that. I think Alonzo would have went off if his wrist wasn't sprained, got a championship run to prep for, and then that part, saying so.
Straight facts, CC.
So it just remains to be seen, but I think there's a way for it to coexist with the competitiveness and the and the entertainment. Like, think about when Kobe was around. Kobe was about that defense, like lockdown procedures, and we was entertained. So I think fans are entertained by the game in itself. So even if they're not putting up a lot of points, it's the fact that they're competing and they're being entertained, because now you have the 12 best players in the year currently that's competing on each team, 24 top players. So regardless if all the points are being put up or they're just playing, they're getting it in, and you're there to witness that. And that's what people want to see. So I think that's why I say I think the competitiveness can equally match. I think if you play a competitive game, you're not going to see them run off how they did yesterday. I mean, how they did on Sunday. Of course, like you said, they was filling the basket up, but of course, no defense being played. And hence the reason that's why the baskets was filled up. You didn't have the likes of Giannis and LeBron, but I wonder would it had just been that much worse had Giannis been playing, or So
if LeBron would have finished, they almost scored 200 points. It was 184 to 175, so it was close to a 200-point game. And then I didn't get the fact that what was the point of adding like 32 points? What was it, 23?
That's the Elam ending. So that's the same thing as the Elam ending. If you watch the basketball tournament, is they shut the clock off in the fourth quarter. I mean, in the Elam ending, they shut the clock off at a certain point, and what they do is they add 7 points to the ending score to basically end the game. So no matter how it goes, this is a target point. In the case of this, they that's what they did. The Elam ending, they put Kobe's 24 points to the end of the top score, the highest score, and the first person to that target point wins. So that gives an opportunity, depending on how close or how far you are away, it gives the top scoring team the opportunity to win the game, but it also gives the opponent an opportunity to come back. In this case, if you look at Team LeBron, they walked it down. They was down by like 15 or 16 points at the beginning of the fourth quarter when the ending came up, when they was at peak. So they were already down, and they needed to score an additional 24 points to win the game. And which, because of the long distance shooting and the lollygagging around with the shooting and everyone coming across the court and shooting half court shots, they started walking it in. And of course, Jason Tatum tried to keep keep it. No, actually, I like the Elam ending, Anthony. It is a pretty good. It's competitive. Only like I said, if I mean, it just comes with a sword, a double-edged sword, because if you're not close at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, in the case of the TBT, then you're not gonna get it because you're 7 points. You can score 7 points off. You know what I'm saying? Off you basically 4 shots for the winning team, and the game is over. But if it's competitive, it causes competitiveness if you're close. It wasn't close in the fact of the matter for the NBA this year, so it really did look lackluster because it seems like the team Giannis tried to give an opportunity for them to come back. They got within 7 or 9 points, and then till the Dame finally ended it with his 3-pointer to walk it off. So yeah, it's just one of those situations. But that's what it is. That's what the 24 points is.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it was a bad thing in my opinion. I understand, and now that you broke it down, I understand what the meaning behind it and all of that. So I like it. So it, it didn't bother me. That didn't bother me either way. When it's all said and done, it didn't bother me either way.
So in the other actions and talks and stuff like that, there's a bevy of players, no pun intended, that are moving and being bought out of their contracts and going on to play with other teams. You have, like I was just saying, no pun intended, Patrick Beverly reaches a buyout with the Orlando Magic and is due or has signed. Is going to sign with the Chicago Bulls. Him being from Chicago and around that area. That's going to be a homecoming from him, so he's going to be going there. Of course,
Patrick Beverly is going to
Chicago.
Has he even been in the Lakers a year?
No, they traded him. He got traded to Orlando.
Good Lord, he ain't finished the season.
Yeah, he played 42 games, started 42 games. So Patrick Beverly, he's moving on. Russell Westbrook bought out, bought out now. He's a Clipper, or he's going to be a Clipper.
He's planning on being a Clipper, yeah. Which could be something. Him, Kawhi, and Paul George. Oof, that West looking scarier.
Of course, Kevin Love decides to stay on the
East. What's up, Coach Hunter?
Stay in the East, and now he is signed with the Miami Heat. There's actually Donovan Myers Leonard. He joins Jay Crowder.
Goes back to Heat, right? Oh no, he goes to Milwaukee.
He's in Milwaukee. They got him back in the East. So Cody Zeller is with the Heat as well.
Oh,
so it was Kevin Love and Cody Zeller. And now Miles Leonard and of course Jay Crowder are in Milwaukee.
I need to hear about why Miles Leonard he was in the league. He got kind of
he got
blackballed out. He got blackballed. Yeah, anti-Semitic gesture that he made, and that got him kind of like blackballed from the league for 2 years. I think he was out for 2 years, and now he's back. KD and I ring season next year with the Suns.
You know what? It's funny you say that, Jaquan, because I don't think that's going to, like you said, next year, key term next year, I think is more on point. I don't foresee them really doing huge damage this year, only because, I mean, no, they're not.
What?
Come on, man.
What?
They got 22 games or so to trying to gel together. That's not enough games. And they don't even know when they're going to get KD. They don't know when they're going to get KD back. He's still injured. He's still out.
Where do they sit? Where is the Suns sitting in the West right now?
They're in third, 3 or 4. They're in the fourth seed, 4th or 5th seed.
They're fine then. If they're the 4th seed, they're fine. They're 5th seed. They're 5th seed.
5th seed, yeah, they're 5th seed.
They're 5th seed, so they're already in the play-in. I mean, they passed the play-in. They're in.
Yeah, they're in currently. But I'm saying for them,
22 games.
Right now they're playing. But it's so here we are first.
Yeah, okay.
Right now they're playing with players that are on their team that has been on their team, so they have a chemistry. When you add a player of Kevin Durant,
of KD's nature,
yes. Now you added somebody into the fray. That's like, you know what I'm saying. That's like we're sitting up in. You're in there cooking you're in there cooking. What I gotta say? We always say lasagna. We always joke about lasagna. You're in there cooking lasagna, and you're going through the steps, and then here you come add me. You know, what I'm saying you're the chef there. Then here they come add me, master chef, and now we're both saying cooking, and now I'm putting I'm, as they say, I'm peppering your gumbo. Now it's like, what am I doing? It's like you add you. It has to be a chemistry that we have to work. We add ingredients because the chemistry of those ingredients together is what makes the flavor. So if you step,
I'm gonna ask you and Jaquan Wooten, because he agrees with you the same thing. Explain to me, or help me. So, is this not almost the same?
Yes.
Similar, let's say similar dynamics that was out in Brooklyn when KD didn't have Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
All last season, basically, for a long time, you only had him on away games, didn't have him for home games, just had him on away games. Same thing. But when they came together this upcoming season
they started
playing,
they started playing better.
They showed out. My personal opinion, KD doesn't need that much time to gel with Booker and CP3, in my personal opinion. I feel like he can come in and be a plug, an extension, just like an extension cord, so you can add more plugs, so you can light up the whole arena. I feel like he's an extension cord who can be added to give that team that spark to be able to do what they do. I'm telling you, if KD come back, like you said, we don't know when he's coming back, but if KD come back midway between these last 22 games, I'm telling you, Phoenix is finna be a problem out west. Phoenix can finna be a problem because who out west is going to threaten them outside of maybe, hear me out, outside of maybe the Clippers and of course Golden State. Outside of that, everybody else, who?
Everybody is going to.
No, ain't no everybody.
They don't have. They
don't do that.
Do you remember the cartoon? Do you remember the cartoon Jim? The cartoon Jim?
Jim?
Yes. That. The term is Showtime synergy. Synergy is needed. You need to have synergy in order or for them to work well together, and the chemistry. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're going to have that chemistry at that time because once again, there's about 25 games remaining in the season. So
how long does it take the chemistry to build, Trey? In your opinion,
I think it's going to take over 25 games because you don't know what.
Do you really think that?
Yeah.
Do you really think it takes more than 25 games for you to gel with somebody?
Think about it. It took 25 games down there for the Heat to gel together when they had LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. And now in this case, it's more. They have in this case, you're looking at Chris Paul, who's probably not going to have a problem because he's supposedly the point guard. He's going to be he's going to be the orchestrator of this,
right?
But
Booker,
he got Booker. That's on. Aiden. He got Booker. That's on oboe. He got
Aiden.
He got Aiden. That's on the strings. Booker and percussions, and then you got what's his name? KD. That's on wind, and he has to make all that work. So that's where the problem's gonna come in at. It's not gonna be to me. It's gonna be no different from how Luka Doncic and Kyrie are right now because they get to the point to where they don't know who's supposed to take the shot or who's supposed to get it. So
but that's the difference, though. With them Luka and Kyrie, you don't have no defense over there. That's the difference. But that's why you don't need over there. There's no defense. They added Kyrie, but that didn't help them defensively. That helped them offensively, but didn't do nothing for defense purposes. When you add KD to the lineup of a Suns team who has defense with Aiden, with Booker, and KD's defense, you have something now. I think I don't get me wrong. I do feel like you need time to gel, but I don't think it's going to take as much time as you feel like it's going to take. Their issue will be defense. KD, CP3, and Booker will have to commit to working hard. I think
also what goes. I think what also goes along with that is the simple fact they don't know when they're getting KD back.
That
And
part, I agree with that part. Now,
if they get KD, if KD doesn't come back for another 15 games, that leaves them 10 games in the regular season to try to gel, to get something together, and then they go into the beginning of the season, beginning of the playoffs. Because unlike football, there's no bye. They go into the beginning of the playoffs against whoever is going to be the AC coming in from the tournament. And so that buys them a little time to kind of get together and continue to practice. But I think that's going to cause more of a problem than anything. I just foresee it as it's not a situation where they're going to catch it right quick. And I think it's more suited that they're going to play it. They're going to see what they have this season to set them up, potentially come in next season, kicking in the door, waving the fofo. That's what I think. Coach Cal said it's going to be defense. It's going to be more of a problem.
Working hard on the opposite end. Luka and Kyrie are two franchise level scoring PGs. You have to expect that with 1 week of togetherness, right? But they have no defense though, Cal. That's the thing. You've picked up a Kyrie, but you haven't fixed your defensive issue. Aiden plays a huge factor in mindset. Is going to be the determining factor. Okay. Phoenix doesn't have any depth on the bench. Facts.
Now they don't. True. And
if
that's
Aiden
another
accepts his role, then it's going to be scary. But if not, it'll be bad.
What role should Aiden be accepting? What, just
defense? He can't. He can't just be a defensive presence. He still got to have an offensive presence in the paint.
Well, in a sense,
but now he has to move himself out the paint. He can't. He can't sit in the paint.
That's what I'm saying.
He can't sit in the paint like he normally does.
In my opinion, their dynamic is completely different from any other dynamic. You have three potential all-stars in your starting five. 3 all-stars. Two potential Hall of Famers. One Hall of Famer, one potential Hall of Famer, two all-star and a superstar in your starting five.
You said one Hall of Famer and one potential Hall of Famer?
One Hall of Famer, one potential Hall of Famer, a superstar and an all-star.
Who's the Hall of Famer and who's the potential Hall of Famer?
CP3 is the Hall of Famer.
So you call it KD is the potential?
Is a potential Hall of Famer.
Potential?
He's a potential or future Hall of Famer.
Oh, thank you. I think I like that better. Future Hall of Famer, not potential.
And then you have a superstar in Devin Booker, and you have an all-star in Aiden.
Facts.
Or a potential all-star in Aiden, because he was an all-star this year. He hasn't been an all-star. So you have a potential all-star in Aiden. They got problems. I mean, they got problems in many ways and more than one, good and bad, in my opinion.
I know, right? That was disrespectful. He was trying to be disrespectful.
It was not disrespectful.
He was trying to be disrespectful. He was trying to be disrespectful. Potential Hall of Famer. What? What? Really? He's definitely going into the thank you. And he's definitely going into the Hall of Fame. But potential.
But again, I don't think it's Phoenix's. I mean, it looks like Phoenix's, but it's not Phoenix's to win. I don't think the road goes through.
Who's is it to win then? Who's it to win? If it's coming out the West, who's it to win out the West? We already heard Coach Hunter say he don't know. He was like, it could be, it's up in the air. Who's is it to win out the West now?
With
all the moves
currently, with all the moves being made, I say it is. I think it still relies on Denver, and I hate to say it, the Los Angeles Clippers.
That's fair. That's fair. I like that. Greatest score of all time, and I said what I said. He talking about KD. I feel you, Wooten. Denver, Clippers, or Phoenix. Okay, Don, thank you. He said Denver. He said Clippers, and I added Phoenix. I say Phoenix, so I'm with you on that one, Don, for sure. What's good, LeStanton? What's good, Frat? What's good? I think
yeah,
it's the healthiest team to enter the playoffs.
Yeah, that's clear. That's a clear point. He's just saying whoever the healthiest is going in. Right
it's
now,
the healthiest team to enter. Whoever the healthiest team is. Oh, I got you.
That might be Memphis. Your man might creep in there.
Who?
He might creep in there. Yeah. We don't know what they get when Cat come back. But again, another gelling chemistry. Cat can come back, but they still have to gel. He hasn't played with the chemistry, and their team is new now. Mm-hmm. So you know what I'm saying. So they have it. Everything. All the focus is on Phoenix because of KD. But they ain't stopped making basketball players when they made KD. And so, you know what I'm saying, it's the team, other people have opportunity and have players too. So
I'm sticking with the
it's
Clippers as long as they
yeah.
are healthy. The Clippers are going to be a problem, but the key and what you said, CC, is the healthy. If you do not have Kawhi on the floor, it's not going to happen. If Kawhi is not on the floor, it's not going to happen. With Kawhi, Paul George, and Russ, oh yeah, they're definitely a threat. They're definitely a threat. Memphis, I don't understand their slide after the Ja Morant bold statement, but yet they're defensively solid. Facts. Yeah, facts. Memphis not going anywhere because of Ja's statement. What statement did Ja make?
He
Did I
said
miss something?
he said it's easy work. They asked him when they was like on the cusp of being the number one team. He said he said easy work, or he's not worried about the moves that everyone's making in the West. And then they came back and was getting throttled, beat down, 5 straight in
Losses.
the 5 straight losses. So now they sit at 5 games behind Memphis when they was just a half a game behind. 5 games behind Denver when they was a half a game behind them.
Sacramento. What?
Oh, Sacramento on the come up. I don't think they're going anywhere. Like I said yesterday, I think Sacramento's
They
only
are the third seed, though. Like he said, they are the third seed.
Yeah, but I mean, when they come in the matchup, I think the only person they'll match up, if all those teams come in healthy, saying even with the who can be the potential playing or not, I think the only people that's in the playoff race that Sacramento is really matching up with in the 7-game series is Oklahoma, or OKC, and maybe Utah. Anyone else besides that?
Bro, the Lakers is 13th right now.
Stop it. Watch your mouth.
Boy.
Memphis.
Coach Hunter said Memphis, Denver, and the Pelicans are inexperienced. I don't care how many MVPs they had, Joker. He is unproven when it matters. That's what somebody else said, Coach Hunter, in regards to Joker and the Denver. They fold when it comes time to playoff time. And right now, Denver's in this number 1 spot with 41 wins and 18 losses. But can they keep it? Can they hold on to it? Do we expect Memphis to advance to the Western Conference Finals or get bounced early? It depends on who Memphis plays, man. It depends. They second right now, so it depends on who Memphis faces. We've seen them make they got bounced in the second round last year. Did they get bounced in the first round or second round last year?
Second round. They
got
bounced,
right? They made it past the first round.
Yeah, they got bounced by Golden State
in the second round, right? Or
second
round. Yeah, right.
Because Golden State played Dallas in the
first round
in the conference championship.
Oh, that's right. Because Dallas, because Luka carried them all that. Yeah, he carried them. That's right. I remember. Suns, Warriors, Clippers, and as much as I hate to say it, Braun get in the play-in tournament. Don't count them out.
Exactly, and that's why. So it's. Let's be
real. They are 5 spots back right now. 5.
We good. We got 23 games.
Bro, that means they have to jump the Warriors. They have to jump the Thunder.
We only 2 games.
The Jazz and the Trailblazers.
We're 2.5 games out from the 10th seed, and we're 3.5 games out from the 6th seed. We're good. We're in good position. All we got to do is string together some wins and some people take some losses. We're good.
Okay, I hear y'all. Anthony's, the Wootens. Okay. Y'all got a lot of faith in these Durham Lakers. Let's be real. Memphis is on the same level as Sacramento this year. Mike Brown has done a hell of a job in Sacramento.
He has.
Facts. He has. Facts. Straight facts, Coach Hunter. Still don't think Memphis can win with 1 star.
But so this is the only thing I beg to differ on that situation. Which you are actually
because I think there's a lot of role players.
Yeah, there's a lot of some contributing player. I'm not counting Dylan Brooks. I'm not completely sold on Brooks, but you got Bane, you got Jared Jackson, so you got 2 all-stars,
right?
For the most part, you got Bane, Jackson, and I know Adams is out. He's out with an injury,
right?
But didn't they add? Where did he went to the Clippers? Man, it's goodness.
It's strong. That's why I said the Clippers.
I was just thinking the Clippers got Miles. They got Bones Highland. So yeah, it's a lot going on over there in Clipper land. I hate to say it.
Right. And that the Mavs team was highly inexperienced when they made their run. The Clippers are our only experience up until then.
Yeah.
And they have to win 17 of those 23 games.
LA has to.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a
We
lot. That's why I
good.
say y'all.
We are good.
That's okay. Nah, I hope
Just
the
want
Lakers don't get in, or if they do, I hope they play us so KD can kill Braun.
creeping on the combo. That's why.
The transition from the Braun era to the new era will not be a great gradual shift. I expect a young team to break through.
It's a
Let's
potential.
see.
It's all possible.
It is. It is. I
It's all
I
possible.
don't know, man. I didn't know y'all was in 13th place though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we slipped. We at one point we was right on the cusp, and then then LeBron and KD and AD went out, and then we slipped, and then so we've been sitting there, and then we came back, and that was the reason for all the trades. But since the trades, everything like that, it's a different team, and they
resume on Thursday, right? That's first game
yes,
since
tomorrow.
yeah, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow or Thursday?
I'm not tomorrow. Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. John Morant gets
Actually, our
exposed.
first game is against Golden State. Our first game back is
Oh
against
yeah,
Golden
it
State.
is. It sure is. I remember them talking about it during the game. John Morant gets exposed every playoff because he can't shoot. John gets injured every playoff because he can't change his style of play. So you're saying, Coach Hunter, because of Josh's play style and because he's not a shooter, therefore they're not going to make it deep into the playoffs, is what you're saying, Coach Hunter. If Lakers don't win 2 out of the next 5 games, it's over.
They got a hard schedule in the next 5 games.
Coach Cal, I agree. The AAU version of the NBA is dying. I see the Celtics being that team to break through. The Celtics, though. We saw what the Celtics did last year. The Celtics are a team. They are force. We know what they have. Jaylen Brown. We know what they got. Tatum. We know all the things that the Celtics bring to the table. But can they finish? Can they finish? Do y'all see LeBron going back to Cleveland to play with Donovan Mitchell in that squad before he retires? No. LeBron's plan is to get wherever his son, because he even mentioned when he was mic'd up on Sunday, he's about to play. It sounds like he's going to play at least 2 more years. He's waiting. He's definitely waiting for his son to come into the league. So I feel as though he's going to stay 2 more years, find out where Braun is going, and go there. In my opinion, that's my opinion. I don't see him going to the Cleveland, even though that I know that's home and all of that. I don't know. I don't see that. But he could possibly go there and try to make some things.
It was funny is that's based on the fact of we're basing that on the fact of Bronny being a one and done. Bronny might get to a college and be like, you know what, I want to continue.
I'm trying to get might try to get a national because his dad didn't go to college, so he might be trying to work. He might try to get a national championship.
So it's like all that's based on Bronny staying just going one and done. We don't know if that's what it's saying. We don't know
depending on where he get picked up at. Yep. What school?
He might go to USC and decide.
Why would he do that?
Because they're one of the schools that's after him. USC, Oregon, and Ohio State.
That would be crazy for him to go there, though.
It would not be crazy.
When's the last time USC won a national championship?
We haven't won a national championship in a while, but let's be real.
So why would we go there?
All the blue bloods ain't what they are right now. Houston is the number 1 seed in the
Gotcha.
And then,
But when the last
Alabama just came off being the number 1 seed, so
yeah, I'm saying, but you still got your Kentuckys, you still got your Dukes, you still got your
their blue bloods ain't what they was anymore because they had a change in the guard. North Carolina and Duke both have new coaches in which they're trying to get back to what they was. Kansas right now the Big Ten is running. Right now the Big Ten is where it's at in.
But are they still in the top 25 as far as college hoops? The Dukes, the North Carolinas.
They're in the lower tier of the top 25.
The Kentuckys.
Kansas is up there because they're in the, like I said, the Big Ten is
Big 12.
The Big 12. Yeah, the Big 12 is running it right now in the Kansas,
Texas.
There you go. Really, y'all even the Big 12. Y'all not Big 12. Y'all SEC. Stop with it. Y'all
who is SEC?
Y'all.
No, we're not. We're not going to the SEC until 2020, bro. I mean 2024, 25. Hold on. I gotta catch this.
So in any case, yes, Jonathan. So I mean, y'all don't let Bishop sit up and sit up and cloud y'all judgment. Of course, I know y'all all have a nice IQ in basketball. So don't let Bishop's tomfoolery clock your judgment in that Bronny might be at USC or Oregon. It depends. All of them can give a huge NIL deal, so it remains to be seen, of course. That hold on one second as I had to pull up something. Oh wow, hold on. So yeah, so in any case, you know, I'm saying that's what it is. I just thought about that. Like Bronny, everything is based on Bronny doing a one and done. He might change his mind, decide he want to stay in school a little longer than initially thought, and now that changed the narrative. But in any case, like you said, Giannis. You talked about Giannis is currently ligament damage in his right wrist, in which is going to be a detriment to him as they get ready to come back. They're due. He went to go see a specialist in New York over the weekend. He's due yesterday, I believe. He's due to they're due to play not New York, Miami on Friday. So we'll see if he's going to be back there. The point guard size and handles are not like that. He's 6'2" and plays high school ball like he's 6'5". His trajectory leads to Gary Trent Jr. if he's hopeful. Correct, Coach Cal, in which I was interested. When you looked at it, he became him as a part of the USA team, 18 under team. I was like, okay. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. Cornelius with the Bronny is good enough to be one and done. Again, that's what I'm saying. Cornelius, like, Bronny is going to even live off his dad's name, which we all know there's not too many players outside of Steph Curry that surpass their dad in, you know, saying when it came to playing. The kids usually don't always do that. So Bronny, for the most part, may not meet the trajectory of his father, honestly. But he might have to stay and incubate in college a little longer than what is needed for him to come out, because his draft stock might not be that high, or he might, unless he's gonna come out and be like Zaire Wade did and basically be an undrafted free agent and get on somebody's G League affiliate squad and try to make his way through the league like that. Like, you know what I'm saying, Bronny has to basically look at that. That's what we're looking at for Bronny for the most part. And he may, like you said, he may not be a one and done type. He might need 2 years in the league, 3 years in the league, 3 years in college, or 2 years in college before he comes out. We don't know. And like he said, like Coach Cal said, he's not built like his father. He's not a 6'8", 6'9" specimen. He's 6'2", 6'3". Maybe might get you about 6'5" at most. You know what I'm saying? It's completely different. He's not like his brother. You know what I'm saying? His brother might have the ability to build on after his height shot up and all that. The jump to a D1 college is greater than the college to the NBA. This would be a critical measurement. You typically know how guys will fare based on how they dominate their collegiate peers. And it remains to be seen, Coach Cal. So I'm not sure of what that trajectory will end up being. But like I said, it remains to be seen. Where else? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Before I get too far of it, of course, you know what I'm saying, condolences go out to, of course, there was a passing of a former patriarch, I guess you could say, in the NBA, as Billy Joe Red McCombs passed at the age of 95 yesterday at his home in San Antonio. If you don't know who Billy Joe Red McCombs was, he was a Texas billionaire that basically built his stake on being very the man played monopoly with sports franchises. He owned 3 sports franchises in the coast in his career. The first being the San Antonio Spurs, who were then called the Chaperones, of course, in which he kept that team. He had that team. He was a part of adding them into the ABA-NBA merger. in which from 73 to 74 and 76, they became the measure, and he named them, being from Spur, Texas, he named the team after his beloved city, and ended up selling them in 1985 just to come back and purchase the Denver Nuggets, in which he kept the Denver Nuggets and ended up selling them just to later come back and purchase an NFL franchise, purchasing the Minnesota Vikings, in which he kept the Minnesota Vikings until 2005, and then he sold them for 600 million after purchasing them for 246 million. So of course, did plenty. He's a patriarch in the NFL as well as the NBA. And you're saying, so he succumbs and passes at the age of 95 yesterday. Going back to what Calvin was just saying, they went to college, reality kicked in. Pittman Jr., yes, has the best chance to find his way to the NBA team as a backup by the time he's 26, 27 in his prime, a true point guard. Shaq's Sons is still out there. But Pippins is, he's productive. I think he's productive. Very productive in the sense. Let me see, what else did we have out there? I want to make sure I got everything covered before I move on to our next topic. Of course, we know Pat is gone. Oh. I think we got a good amount of things covered in that. Let's get to this some NFL conversation. Of course, there's been a lot of moving and shaking going on when you look at the NFL. Offensive, defensive coordinators being shuffled like cards in the in-state. Of course, we got people trying out, getting ready to get it in, try out to be people's offensive, defensive coordinators. So where we start out first, of course, congratulations as the Commanders officially announced Eric Bieniemy as an offensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins. Correction, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me for my misstep, Anthony. The offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, Eric Bieniemy, now moves on after being with Kansas City for, I think it was 6 years, 6 seasons. He is now representing the Washington Commanders in the same position, a lateral move, going from Kansas City to Washington, the nation's capital, in a lateral move. So I don't know how that will look. Of course, we don't know who will be the quarterback. Right now, they're expecting it to be Sam Howell, with, in my opinion, a bevy of weapons in his offense. So maybe we get a chance to see Eric Bieniemy string together some wins, and in that maybe put himself in prime position to take over whoever the next franchise is that would need defensive, a quarterback. A head coach in the coming years. Eric Bieniemy trying to show that he can turn exactly, and that's what he's betting on himself in this case. And I don't know if that's going to be a position, or maybe we don't know. Maybe he might be able to do it handily, where it's like, okay, Ron hasn't done this, but Eric Bieniemy comes, we're gonna go ahead and rule Ron. Eric, we want you to take over the team potentially. I don't know. But of course, if he, like Kyle says, if he turns water into wine in Washington, he's going to probably put himself on the map to definitely go and show that he is worthy of being sought after as a head coach, or being hired as a head coach after he's done work magic in 2 organizations. Okay, he's an assistant head coach, so it's already he's put in prime position. I would like to see Washington make a move for Lamar Jackson. Anthony said he doesn't want Lamar. You want to keep. So, Anthony, you saying you would rather keep Lamar? I mean, you would rather keep Howell than get Lamar? What's good, Dwayne? What's going on, sir? Glad to have you formation with us this morning. Correct, and this is his opportunity to show, like, okay, it wasn't Coach Reed, it was mine. Even though Coach Reed did say Eric Bieniemy did, it was Eric Bieniemy, but now he gets to show, like, without, you know what I'm saying, without no lip service, like, clearly and concisely, I am that dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely an opportunity for him to put himself in the prime position. You know what? It did slip my mind real quick. So, of course, be sure to tap in on Thursday, right? On Thursday, as we have some of the coaches that played in the military basketball tournaments over this past weekend. We had the Chris Crawford tournament, inaugural tournament out west, that was won by Luke Air Force Base and Coach Paris. And then on the East Coast, you had the Capital Classic, that was won by Charleston NCAAMB, Coach Wayne Walcott. So on Thursday, we'll have them along with a couple of others on the show to talk about the tournaments and, you know, saying what's going on. You got the National Military Basketball Tournament that's coming up in April. Of course, you have the NBA, Military Basketball Association's weekend and Memorial Day weekend coming up. So it's starting to rev up. These teams are competing. Of course, that was an open tournament in the Classic, and you got, I'm very sure, Wayne and Dwayne and Coach Fest were able to see some talent, very much talent, as they look to see who they're going to get the invites. Additionally, I want to reach out to Coach Fest and see would he like to come on Friday and talk about some of the changes in the how they're doing things differently with the NMBT this year. So, of course, you know, saying if you like hearing about or listening to these coaches and players potentially talk about the what's the way forward for them in this military basketball community, be sure to tap in on Thursday. And of course, you will know if we want to run it back on Friday. Of course, so Coach Fest, Dwayne, be looking forward for hearing from me to see if I can get y'all on Friday. Chucktown Military Squad put in work at the Capitol. Yes, they did. They faced off against Fort Bragg in the championship and were victorious. But of course, like I said, it's different. I will wait till Friday. We'll go over the National Military Basketball Tournament committee did put out their top 25, or it was the top 16. I think it was top 25. I have to look at it again, but I'll wait to go over that when we have if just in case we have Coach Fest Richardson on, so we can talk about that. So plenty of that going on. So back to this conversation, as everyone's saying, we had Lamar and RG3. That is not the same, Anthony. Stop it. And technically, when y'all had that, y'all was very effective. Y'all was a contender until he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Yes, the women had competed in the Classic as well. Who was it that won? I wrote it down. I don't have my tablet in front of me. Of course, you know, saying shout out. I'm a big purveyor of the women. I always look at them and be like, yeah, the women's. I'm a supporter of women's sports as well. Title IX, full effect. Archer 3 was good till he got injured. Yeah, of course, the same thing. So we definitely looking at that. So I think y'all would want I almost said Dwayne Wade. Y'all would want Lamar Jackson if he was available, I'm sure. But speaking on availability, today starts the day in which the players start to get franchise tagged or transition tagged. So of course we could potentially see that happening or coming about. Lamar Jackson, of course, leading the pack as he is one of the players. Maybe potential see a franchise tag for Daniel Jones as well. So it remains to be seen. We know if there's a franchise tag entered on Lamar and a team decides to snatch him up, there is a 2 first-round penalty given to Baltimore. So is it will that non-exclusive franchise tag be enough to pry or for Baltimore to let Lamar go? It remains to be seen. That is a good question, Coach. Dwayne. is Coach Hunter still out there? What does Chicago do with the number 1 seed? When the number 1 draft pick? Is it a receiver? Are they looking for a better quarterback and they're going to move Justin Fields? What potentially can they do? And will it make sense? Is there a quarterback that's out there that they think? Do we see the same thing that happened with Josh Rosen when the Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray first round after they had just had a first rounder picked up? It remains to be seen. That was a hell of a question. I don't know if Coach Ryan's still out there. I would think that they probably go after a wide receiver, a top wide receiver. But I could be wrong. They might choose defense over offense. I would be surprised if they go out and get another quarterback. Or they may trade down. They might double down. They might trade back. They might pick up some assets and double down and give someone else the first pick. What's good, Steve? I see you tapping in this morning. Lamar wants to leave. He's out. Additionally, Carolina, where's LaStanton? Carolina is making hella moves. I don't know what Frank Reich is over there doing, but he's doing a lot currently. Just signed Thomas Brown as an offensive coordinator. He already has Evero as the defensive coordinator. He's also brought in former head coach Jim Caldwell as the former as a former head coach, and he's a part of the defensive staff. He's making hella moves. He's making a lot of moves over there. He's putting together a bunch of brain trust, I think you could say. Josh McCown, he's brought in as the quarterbacks coach. I mean, he's brought in as the passing game coordinator. So it seems like he's putting together a lot of pieces that may amount to something. Of course, we still don't know who's going to be their quarterback. I just seen where there's potential they could bring back Sam Darnold. But he's making moves silently and surely, building what could potentially be a conglomerate in the Carolina Panther organization, going after what supposedly his boss in Tepper wants, the hiring of minorities, and putting them in key positions. It looks like he's working his magic. Still not sure how much the offensive coordinator will be able to call. Of course, Frank Reich said he likes to call offensive plays, but it remains to see how involved with the offense he will be remaining. So, of course, like I said, Thomas with the position getting hired as the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. In other conversations with reference to coordinators being hired, of course, you have the Chargers let defensive coordinator Ronaldo Hill go and pick up a lesser position with the Miami Dolphins. As we know, Vic Fangio is currently the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, in which he was able to wrestle defensive coordinator Ronaldo Hill from the Chargers. As Staley said, he allowed for Hill to go and move on to the Dolphins because he know they had a clear and concise, very closely play together or worked with one another, and he think it was a better position opportunity for him going forward. So now you have, I don't get that unless it's just that much. That's telling, in my opinion, or can be telling. You are a defensive coordinator for a cross conference foe, and you allow your defensive coordinator to leave your organization to go be with, and then that defensive coordinator is taking the relegation from a defense coordinator to a defensive passing game coordinator. Unless there's a potential for him to pick up that position after a couple of years, I don't get that. It's completely different from Eric Bieniemy taking another offensive coordinator position. You're going from defensive coordinator to an offensive to a a defensive passing game coordinator. But of course, I guess everyone has their reasons. But now, like I said, Ronaldo Hill, former defensive coordinator of the Chargers, joins the Dolphins. Vic Fangio's defensive staff as a defensive game plan coordinator. Who else we had? Other ones before I get to that one. Is there something else? Nick Rallis has been hired as Nick Rallis and Drew Petzik have been hired as coordinators for the the Arizona Cardinals. Wasted no time, of course. Jonathan Gannon, who was announced as the head coach now, new head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, now has Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing taking over as offensive and defensive coordinators for the Cardinals. So of course that remains. Petzing looks at working with he looks at working with what's the quarterback name? Kyler Murray. I'm sorry. Kyler Murray. He looks forward to working with Kyler Murray in the coming weeks, depending on when Kyler Murray come back. Of course, he's going to have to vet or will have to work with whoever the quarterback in which they bring in to be a part of the organization, because Kyler Murray is not expected to be back till the middle of the season next year. So, of course, now that's going to be complete a major play. Petzik was the Browns quarterback coach in just this past season. The Philadelphia's, and then Nick Rallis was the Philadelphia Eagles linebackers coach as he gets a promotion to defensive coordinator. Petzik gets a promotion to offensive coordinator. So a lot of moving and shaking going on, of course. What else do we have in the face of the NFL? Aaron Jones reworking his deal to stay with the Packers. What do y'all think about that? Aaron Jones had an opportunity to go into free agency potentially, or ask to be out to get with another team, in which he's currently a cap hit of $20.1 million, which includes a $7 million signing bonus. So it's hold up, Anthony. Is Daniel Jones worth 5 years, $200 million? So in the New York organization, he just may be. Think about it. If it's not Daniel Jones, who is New York getting to play there and sign there? Out of all the free agents that are going to be coming about, who is clamoring to go to New York? Wait, I don't think anyone is. So I think truly and honestly that Daniel Jones is potentially can be worth that 200 million for the most part, 40 million a year. Derek Carr was able to pull that off. So I think for the same thing, I think Daniel Jones can pull it off. In which he showed that he might be he could play. Like they probably messed up by not signing him to that extension and picking up his fifth year. They messed that up. So now, but maybe not 5. Yeah, maybe not 5 years. I don't think 2 years. I think 5 years is too long. I think you got to stay with the 3 or 4 year range, and maybe pay him and deduct some of that off there. But definitely, probably not the 200 million in 5 year range. No, he's not. Dak is not even worth the 75 million. So it remains to be seen for the most part. I wouldn't think. I think that's too many years. Maybe 4 years. I don't think he's going to get a 5 year deal. Maybe a run back another 4 year deal and see where that goes from there. And then, of course, extend him after that if he's doing well. But to give him 5 years, 200 million might not be the move. But of course, with the markets reset the way it is, currently franchise tags is $32 million. So that goes to show that if you ain't making, you got to make at least a 35 million or more to reach the value of what the market is reset to, regardless of what type of quarterback you are. Of course, the expectation is that Lamar Jackson is going to be the largest fish in the pool, in the pond this year. So it remains to see if he's going to be, is he going to get the money he wanted. I know the conversation has been that the talks have been out there, but what has happened is they are so far apart on where they're at with the dollars. I think they even said essence of $100 million. If you're talking about that, we're $100 million in disparity between what y'all are willing to give me and what I'm asking for. You can almost guarantee that it's going to be a situation to where he's going to be up out. We're not going to see Lamar Jackson in the Broncos in the Ravens uniform come this season, and which we'll see soon. We'll also see what tag they put on him to where they're going to be paying him potentially. Lamar for now, but Joe Burrow will get more than Lamar. Potentially, yes, Joe, yeah. But Lamar's going to make it to where Joe's going to get that because Lamar, at some point, Lamar's going to set the mark. He's going to reset the market. He's the only one that's probably going to reset the market. Of course, you got Derek Carr. He said it somewhat last year or the year before. But he's on Lamar is the big fish, so he's the one looking to reset the market. If you get players like Jimmy Garoppolo and them resetting it, then it's just a frenzy of money being tossed around. But right now, of course, with the non-exclusive tag for a quarterback, you're looking at 32.4 million. Transitional tag is 29.5 million. So you gotta come big. You gotta go big. So Daniel Jones is going to make at least 35 million, regardless of how many years he signed. So Cornelius asks, is Lamar asking for too much? 3 years removed from MVP. Maybe they should be able to come to a median. What is Lamar asking for? Let me see if I can pull it up and find it. What exactly? How much is Lamar asking for? He hasn't finished his last 2 seasons since in between. Y'all better hold Lamar. Don't get $100 million because everyone else's salary will drop. Nah, he's not gonna get that, Donovan. He's definitely not get that. He's get guaranteed money. He's expected to make how much is he asking? I'm trying to find it after the season of late. Well, he might be because what is rumored said that he was offered $250 million for 6 years, $250 million with $133 million guaranteed. That was what he was offered in September, and supposedly he turned it down. So if he's asking for more than $250 million over a 6-year period, yeah, he could be asking for a little too much, or he might want that Patrick Mahomes deal. If the Ravens are get smart, give him a 10-year deal. If you want the money, you're going to stay a Raven forever. But see, And I would think that that's what he's trying to avoid, because of course, if he takes a 10-year deal, then he's basically it would have other stuff would have to come with that. It would have to be a 10-year deal that includes a no trade clause, because if over the course of 10 years, you are expected potentially to possibly diminish. It's a likely scenario that you're going to diminish, especially when you look at how Lamar Jackson plays the game. He's a mobile quarterback that gets a lot of his magic comes from him being able to use his legs. So in a 10-year period, you have to add that in. If you're going to put me on a significant contract like that, multiple years to give me multiple hundreds of millions, we got to add a no trade clause to that, so that way you can just up and just toss me to the wolves when you feel like I'm not productive to you, conductive to you anymore. So that would come in that as well. That's what I would do. Like, you're not going to sign me to a 10-year deal and then turn around 3 years from now and send me off and package me and send me somewhere that I wouldn't have went to begin with if I was able to get out if I was able to leave at the 4th or 5th year time. So nah, that's not what we're going to do. Lamar Jackson made $20 million, the $23 million this past year. With the franchise tag, he's due to make $45 million because that's higher than 120% higher than what the franchise tag is. So he will leave looking at $45 million with the exclusive franchise tag. And if they sit up and double back and try to exclusive franchise tag him again, he'll be making $54 million. So that'll be almost $100 million in 2 years, while they're trying to make a decision on how they can pay him. Of course, with the exclusive franchise tag, the Ravens will pay more money with the opportunity to have the only opportunity to negotiate with said player. With the non-exclusive franchise tag, then the organization can have first refusal rights to a team that is looking to sign him. If they're looking at it's too much that they won't, then they can sign that player, and then that player, the league awards the team that lost the player with 2 first-round picks, or the 2 first-round picks from that team. So there's a possibility. There's no telling. It's a possibility. So a lot going on. Does Lamar leave? I think it really depends on which team picks him up. Because if a team with some weapons go to sign him, then I think Lamar's out. Like Steve was saying earlier, he's up out of there. So I don't know what team that'll be that's open. Of course, I wouldn't see him going to New York. Will he go to Carolina? Maybe not. I don't think it's enough. Could he end up in like we were saying RG3 move and end up like they were saying earlier in the Commanders? That could be a possibility. He has a couple of receiving core there, a nice running back room. That could be an option. Could he end up in New Orleans? I think for in the right organization, Anthony, I think he may be worth 2 first-round picks in the right organization. I don't know. So, Dwayne, I think the Jets are all right, but of course, with someone like Breece Hall coming back, and we seeing if Breece Hall has the same year that he had last year, but I think they were stagnated in the receiving. They didn't get the ball to the receivers. All these dudes want Mahomes money, but when they like it. But again, the players, Mahomes has a top-notch coach, and Mahomes has, of course, you would want to go to Pittsburgh, Donovan. Of course, you would. Mahomes has the receiving core has been built, and let's just be honest, Mahomes is pretty productive himself. But he has a top-notch receiver in Travis Kelce. He got Juju this year. He had help with Scantling as well as Hardman when he was healthy. So he's had help. Like he's been effective. Before that, he had Tyreek Hill. Like he's had help. On the hand, when you look at Lamar, he hasn't had anything since the run game in which he had with him and Ingram. He's been lackluster in wide receivers, not to sip and throw any shade on Hollywood, but his receiving core, like Hollywood dropped a lot of passes. So his receiving core has been different. And I just don't know if that's the case. When going back to the Jets, they had Griffin. So they had some productivity there. They had a young core, but then they let those wide receivers kind of like go to the wayside. People wasn't getting burned. They lost Breece Hall. He's expected to come back. That might not be a bad idea. So maybe the Jets could be effective. New Orleans, that's another one that might be out there. They might want to kick the tires if the opening is there, but I don't know if they have any first round picks or how many first round picks they have to give. But of course, Chris Olave, Landry, maybe Mike Thomas, potentially Alvin Kamara, but we all know Alvin Kamara has been indicted for one of 4 people indicted for that domestic violence in Las Vegas last year doing the Pro Bowl. So it's no telling where he will potentially be. But they have weapons there with a defense that maybe can rival that of the Baltimore. So I don't know. That could be a possibility. Who else is out there that needs quarterbacks? Say Carolina, Washington, New York. Not Pittsburgh, Donovan. No. Pittsburgh. No. Who else is out there? New York, probably not. I think New York is just the same as Baltimore. That could be it. So any of those teams, and along with the other people that was out. Oh, the Raiders. That's another one. Oh yeah, I rock with Goff. I ain't gonna say he's for real, but he's getting it taken care of. I rock with Goff. You gotta think Goff is just removed 4 or 5 years removed from being a Super Bowl quarterback himself. So he's not a slouch at it in any way, in any form or fashion. If Detroit gets their thing get their thing rocking and rolling, they should be good. According to CC, with the Jets are we're not close. More competitive, yes, but a QB away, we will see. Yeah, I just don't think they're a QB away. I think they need more of a receiving core. They need some people more. They just need more. I would think they're more suited as a defensive unit, but I don't think they're a QB away. Now they might be a bit more formidable with a QB in the fold, and then to see if it's enough to get them over the hump. But it's like if they get over that hump, it's like where do they go from there? And I just think that's what the Jets organization is looking like right now. So to go out to lose 2 first-round draft picks to get Lamar I think it's going to fit the bill for them. I think they're better off tapping in and picking up maybe a Jimmy Garoppolo or definitely not a Derek Carr. But Jimmy Garoppolo might be a good one. Maybe, I don't know, Sam Darnold's been there already, so he's not going to go back there, I don't think. Got Baker Mayfield that's going to be out there. I don't think Geno's going back there. So it starts to get slim pickings. Maybe we saw Mike White. I don't know. But definitely, I think they need a quarterback. They need somebody to allow Zach Taylor to grow and be more in maturity in the NFL. I almost missed other news when it comes to defensive coordinators. Rex Ryan is going to kick the tires and see as he interviews for the Broncos defensive coordinator position to be on Sean Payton's staff. Of course, Rex Ryan, 60 years old, is looking at coming out the booth with the ESPN as an ESPN in studio analyst to go back to the sidelines. Of course, we know he last was a defensive coordinator for the 2019 with the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, he was a defensive coordinator, same position with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's looking at potentially tapping in and joining Sean Payton and his organization as for the same position. So do you think Rex Ryan has a chance to get in there? Lamar. Oh, you know what? I'll stand corrected. That's another team. The Falcons. Actually, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa might be a squad. That could be a squad for Lamar going closer to home. That could be a steal. I think they would give up 2 number 2 picks to get him in the fold. For me, it was losing to the Patriots twice and the Pats only 1 touchdown in 2 games. But yes, definitely Lamar, potentially as a Falcon. Not a Raider. They don't have any. For Devontae Adams is there. They would need more at quarterback for the in Las Vegas. So I would think the front runners would be Tampa Bay, of course Baltimore, and maybe New Orleans. But Anthony says Lamar to the Falcons, Rodgers to the Raiders, Carr to the Jets, or Saints, Jimmy G to Tampa Bay. I think Jimmy G would go to would end up being a Raider or a Jet. I think he's going even west to the Raiders, or actually, I think Jimmy's going to the west to the Raiders, the east to the Jets, or potentially even staying home with San Francisco. Rex Ryan and Peyton may be a force in Denver. I don't know if Rex Ryan got that type of in him still as a defensive coordinator. I mean, he left. I know he left to go into the booth 5 years ago. But was that because he decided, or was it because the organization decided and they made it look like he decided? I don't know if he still got that. If he still got that oomph, if he's that dude anymore. But of course, we will be seeing that shortly. Rex Ryan, Tampa Bay. How Green, and then of course, if Green Bay ends up moving on Aaron, now you look at do they start their next chapter with Love, or do they get a quarterback themselves as well? Like, which one comes? How does that end up faring? So it's a lot of stuff going on. It's going to start tapping in and getting started. Of course, first we should start to hear who's getting franchise tag. Shortly, and start to see how these organizations are going to start to show their business savvy and how they're going to get down. So that's definitely remains to be seen. Let me see. We had other pigskin going on earlier. Of course, we know the XFL started off this weekend. I know Donovan tapped in and was talking about it. 5 games played. Even the announcement of where this year's championship game will be played in the XFL, that being played in San Antonio for the inaugural championship game coming this week. Let me see. Pull up. Boop. Of course, if I can say 5 games took place. The first game, the Arlington Renegades played versus the Las Vegas Vipers, in which the Arlington Renegades won 22-20. The second game, the Houston Roughnecks throttled the Orlando Guardians by the score of 33-12. St. Louis Battlehawks knock off the San Antonio Brahmas by the score of 18-15, in which we're going to come back to that game particularly because that game ended in a certain fashion, which is starting to bring some things into question on the rules. The DC Defenders knock off the Seattle Sea Dragons by the score of 22-18. And the last game, was that the last game? Was that game 4? Yes, that was game 4. So going back to the St. Louis Battlehawks and the San Antonio Brahmas game. So in that game, hold on. That's why they're probably looking at going ahead and moving on for Aaron's. But of course, they got to weigh they got to weigh the sentiment. Like if they let Aaron go, who do they bring in to replace Aaron? Is it going to give them any leeway to moving on to the next level again or getting back to a high efficiency of playing? Of course, like you said, once people get moved out of the markets and go to different markets, it's like what they're going to be left with. And then I think that's what remains to be seen. I like how they handle the replay. We as the fans hear everything. Cornelius say the XFL looks fun. Of course, so over the course of the weekend, like I said, the XFL, the most, I can say controversial game, but the game that is really coming into question was the St. Louis Battlehawks against the San Antonio Brahmas, in which the Brahmas, I guess you could say this is on the Brahmas because they were up. They had a nice lead going into the fourth quarter. They were actually up, what was this, 12? Was it 12 or 15? Or they was up by 12. I think it was up 15-3 or something like that. They was up running away with the game. In which, of course, first thing up, St. Louis goes down and scores. Bound by 12-3. There's down. Okay, that's what it was. It was down 12-3. St. Louis goes down and scores a touchdown. Now it's 12-10. They go, the Brahmas get a field goal 15-10. The Brahmas go and get a field goal, and now at this point is 10-15. You know what? I love this guy. Coach Wayne Walcott comes in with the facts. Lakers 2023 champs. Remember this day? Y'all heard it at 1 hour and 31 minutes in. Coach Wayne, Lakers 2023 champs. Remember y'all heard it here on First Formation with his prediction. So, of course, like I said, at this point, 15-10 lead, I believe, for the Brahmas, in which in the XFL, you have the opportunity to instead of going, you can even kick off in the fourth quarter, you can even kick the ball off to your team, go for the onside kick, or elect to receive the ball on 4th and 15 from the 35-yard line, and with the opportunity to try to convert a first down, a 15-yard first down. In which, in this case, the St. Louis Warhawks and AJ McCarron went ahead and took this option, converting on the 4th down, in which later they get the touchdown and the win over the Brahmas by the score of 18, like I said, 18-15. All I can say is wow. Like, to have that opportunity, it brings on, like, is this the rule in which everyone wants to keep? Is it a rule in which people are clamoring and asking, hey, we need to remove this rule? It doesn't make for a good game. Like, it was unfortunate. Just say that's unfortunate. Was it a complete debacle for the Brahmas? Was it their fault? In any case, now it is a rule that everyone knows about, and now going forth, it's probably a rule in which they're going to start using more and more and more. So that, of course, it remains to be seen. A couple of things to go back on. One being going back into the NFL, right? Already, and this is no bias whatsoever, when you look at it, I think the San Francisco 49ers has the hardest schedule going into the 2023-24 season. They play 7 of the 17 games in which they play are going to be against playoff teams from from the previous season. Not to mention the fact that 4 of the 7 games in which they're playing are basically in their conference, so they would have to play them anyway. So the Cardinals and Rams, of course, they play twice a year. So that's 7. The Cardinals nor the Rams didn't make the playoffs. However, that means if you remove those players or take that away, then you only have 3 games in which the 49ers will not play. Well, 3 teams in which the 49ers will play that weren't in the playoffs last year. That being the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Washington Commanders, in which they played all 3 of those teams in their stadium. So we'll be traveling to Philadelphia. We'll be traveling to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Washington, as well as Jacksonville, Minnesota, and Philadelphia this coming season. I just thought I should say that. So letting it be known. You know what? I don't like that. But in case, that's what we have. The 49ers season is going to be looking very challenging. Very challenging with 7 teams that 10 games of players that was in teams that was in the playoffs. Of course, one of the 2 player teams was a division champion in which we got a chance to play, but didn't get a chance to finish due to injuries. The Buccaneers, the Ravens, depending on what's going on. So it ain't looking that bad. I think it's some winnable games. But yes, so I just thought I would put that out there. We always talked about Clippers and Russ. I'm not looking forward to that at all, any way, form, and fashion. I'm not liking that at all for him to come back. Who else? What else we got? I might be. Oh, let's talk about this. As we know, Dwight Howard plays for the Tayon Leopards over in I think the Philippines, right? Or to where this past weekend, Dwight Howard scored 84 points, 37 rebounds, 14 blocks, and 9 assists. Just 1 assist short of a quadruple double. Is that a valid stat line? Or is it just his dominance over less or inferior players in state, and he's just making it happen, taking care of business or taking advantage of his dominance? 84 points, 37 rebounds, 14 blocks. Dwight Howard. Dwayne said he's good. Is that he turned it back the clock, or is it like I said? I guess you gotta look at it just like the time when Magic Johnson went over and dominated overseas one time. These players that go there and dominate and decide they're not coming back because they're dominating. We know he's past his prime in the U.S. game for the most part, or is he? If Dwight Howard was with the right team, can he turn back the clock a little bit? When you say Dak has one more year, Cornelius, what do you mean? He got one more year before it's done? Coach Walcott, he should still be in the league. People are acting like Dwight wasn't not long ago a top 3 player in the league. So do you think that is so what do you think, Coach Wayne? What do you think is the reason for him not being picked up or not getting time? Because wasn't he just playing with Joel Embiid? Wasn't they paired together? Dwight would have been great in the All-Star game. 84 points, 37 rebounds, 14 blocks, 9 assists. Same reason Melo not playing ownership. So you said Melo should be, so Dwight and Melo should be in the league currently right now. I wonder, do they get a chance? Do they get another call up? I think it's basically because their age for the most part. Because we all Melo is a bucket. He can get a bucket. He can get it when he can get it how he live. Dwight Howard, if he's putting up these type of numbers, but again, is it inferiority to his competition? What's on to tell me they can't? You're right. They should be able to, but I think it's just the love for him, for Haslam. Beasley's a bucket too, and he's over there. So, is this a potential coming trend where we see these players that could probably still be effective in the league, going over seas and being dominant and almost like creating? I'm very sure the teams start to do that. Hold that off to where they're not going to allow for too many United States players of that caliber to get over there. They pay well. They are beloved. True. And so I wonder, is that, like I said, I don't think they're going to allow that for the most part. It starts to I ain't going to say water down their product because you would think that, okay, if it makes money, then it makes sense to bring them over, put butts in seats, make a play for a championship, since championship seems to be the reason. I had that conversation yesterday, which I was not understanding when we got players that have championships that didn't play a lick, but they were just on squads. Why is there so much emphasis on championships? But like Coach Wayne said, however, just don't break their laws. Correct. You end up in their prisons. The plans love them over there, I see, with our armed forces teams. So of course, if their armed forces teams get the love, then it should be the same. And that's the same thing, like with the semi-pro arena, when they used to sit up and do tours and try to put on tours. I used to speak to this one guy, Frederick, I think his name was, and in which I used to talk to him about overseas tours. And he was always telling me where the hottest was. Of course, Barcelona. He's like, they love it there, to go there to do camps with the kids, and then put on a couple of games versus their teams, the national team or the local teams. It's like it was a good show, in which I just never got an opportunity to do that. After the COVID, I had it slated, in which I was talking to him, and then the COVID season came. But COVID came, and then it kind of put a damper into even that being a possibility. But definitely some opportunities out there. For a little or nothing, I guess, when you look at it from a breakdown perspective, to do a 7 to 10 day tour, Barcelona, Taipei, and all these different any of those regions. A lot of opportunity, but he said the same thing. They're loved. American players are loved. It breeds a following. These people are viewed. So definitely one of those things. So I guess it goes to say that the move going overseas was a good one for Dwight, and currently productive for him. What else do I have? Let me go through and make sure I covered everything I have for today. Franchise tags getting started. Next round. We go through the roundup. All right, talked about Aaron Jones. Actually, Ronaldo here. So that, I guess you could say, that is that could be the show for today. Of of course, big question. Oh wait, okay. Who gets tagged? Of course, Anthony. I think it's going to be Lamar. Lamar is going to be the first person tagged today. Well, you know what? I stand corrected. It might not be Lamar. It may not be Lamar. Maybe Orlando Brown. Maybe Orlando Brown gets tagged today. I don't think they're going to have to tag Geno Smith. I think they're going to be able to come to unless they tag him just to take him off the list. But Orlando Brown, I think, gets tagged today. Daniel Jones may get tagged just to see where they're at with it. But I don't think Dwight. I mean, I don't think Lamar gets. I think Lamar might get tagged later on as well, for the most part. But in any case, I got so Washington tags Payne. I hope we don't tag anybody. Let them go. Let them walk. But I do have something before I go. What do you think about these particular players that possibly need to be traded in their respective area? Got 5 players in which I want to bring up. One being, of course, who we just talked about, Anthony Price, in which you, due to the fact you said you hope they tag him and you don't wish he'd be traded. One being Darren Payne. Another one being Roy Robertson Harris, defensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jalen Ramsey from the Los Angeles Rams. Do you think it's time for him to be moved? Is there anywhere where he can go? Is he actually the top player in which he was when he was first traded to the Los Angeles Ram, or is he currently on borrowed time? Additionally, also 2 more players, that being Mike Evans. Now that he's without Tom Brady, don't know who his quarterback is going to be, and DeAndre Hopkins. Also, who going to Detroit? Dwayne, who you think should go to Detroit? Evans, Hopkins. So we think about with these potential players being traded, this could be opening up a market for players to be like, okay, well, let's see where we can get Lamar at. Brown is still getting to get him into the Lions. Ramsey's okay. Ramsey to the okay, Detroit. Ramsey to Detroit. I don't know how that look. So basically, in state, yes, he should be traded. What y'all saying is what I'm getting. What I ascertain is Jalen Ramsey should be traded. Cowboys should use D-Hop. Stop it, Cornelius. Stop it. There's no way. There's no way. Can you imagine though? That would almost rival what's going on in Philly. If they could get a D-Hop or Mike Evans. But will they be willing to give anything up for D-Hop or Mike Evans? That will negate potentially of Odell Beckham going there. That would be interesting. Definitely be a different outlook on it. But like I was about to say, I'll go ahead and leave y'all with that. What would it be like if Cowboys was to get DeAndre Hopkins or Mike Evans? One of the few questions to talk about as we get back in. If I come back on tomorrow, I may not be available, or myself, my Bishop might not be able. I know I have an appointment, so Bishop might tap in. But it has been always a great and utterly honor and sit up and chopping it up with y'all. Like I said, Thursday, be sure to tap in. Coach Wayne, Coach Paris, I think Coach Anderson, maybe Coach Uriah and others to be on Thursday. And I'm going to see if I can get a couple on Coach Fess Richardson on to talk about the National Military Basketball what they got going on for this season, as well as the changes in their top 25. Of course, our usual with the NBA and anything they got from the NFL and NBA going forth. So as always, a vibe. Be sure to tap in with us, every Monday up through Friday for the most part, 09 to 1100 hours. And catch a vibe. Come in and follow with us. Until then, I look forward. Enjoy y'all the rest of y'all week. I know y'all probably a little lethargic coming back from work, getting back to work after a nice weekend. I got you. I got you, boss. I got you, boss. I hear what you're saying. I've been going all weekend out there in the capital. So maybe just a brief second for you to talk. Maybe just 10 or 15 minutes. Saying during that lunch or doing a break or something like that. I'll see what I can do. I can get with him and see what I can do if he can get you to sign off on that. But I greatly appreciate talking to y'all. That's our show for today. I look forward to talking in with y'all. If not tomorrow, y'all know y'all see the notification come across. If not tomorrow, we'll basically be able to tap in definitely on Thursday. And of course, Friday to finish up the week as we get ready. You got some boxing coming up in the course, the MMA fights and all that is going down. Appreciate it, Mr. Reed. Thank you, Dwayne. Gladly appreciate y'all. Look forward to talking with y'all. Peace. Enjoy your day.